Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be talking about choosing parts for your PC if you're considering building one yourself. Now, the first question you need to ask yourself before building a PC is what you intend to do with it. Are you going to play games on it? Are you going to create 3D models on it? Are you going to run simulations on it? Are you going to live stream with it? Or are you going to create content on it? Now, keep in mind that any computer can do all the tasks that I just stated. The only difference is that it can do one thing better than the rest, or it can do a few things better than the rest. For example, if you want to play games, then your CPU needs to be, your GPU needs to be really good. If you want to edit videos, or if you want to stream, your CPU needs to be really good. Although nowadays there are some cores dedicated just for video encoding in some GPUs, your CPU needs to be good. That's the bottom line. Before going any further, let's list out the parts of the PC. So it's the CPU, the GPU, the memory sticks, the power supply, and your storage device. And to hold them all together, you need a case. Although a couple of fans wouldn't hurt, but most of the cases do come with fans these days, so you should be fine. Oh boy, there's a lot to cover. If you feel like you need to discuss more about this, you can drop into my chat on Mixer. The links are in the description down below. I stream every Wednesday and Saturday, so feel free to drop by and say hi and ask your questions. Now, to make things interesting, I included some footage of me and my friend building a PC. I figured you guys would be more interested in watching some content, some quality content over my face for 10 long minutes. Now, some important information about the build. We chose the Ryzen 5 3600 and an NVIDIA RTX 2060 for this. You will know why we chose this as we move along. Without wasting your time, let's get into the build. Before that, I need to bring the video. I think I need to pull it here. Pull it. Alright, here we go with the brains of the CPU, because why not? As most of you might know, there are two major companies that manufacture chips for the x86 platform, Intel and AMD. Note that this can only be paired with a motherboard that has a compatible socket. Now, Team Blue does a very good job when it comes to higher clock speeds and sheer performance. But the 14nm architecture hasn't changed in a while, and compare that to the 7nm newer Zen architecture from Team Red, the AMD counterpart becomes a solid option. For your reference, a 6-core 12-thread CPU from Intel costs you around €400, and a similarly spec'd out CPU from AMD costs you only €200. And they include a thermal solution as a cherry on top. The only major difference being a slightly better clock speed. The Intel can boost up to 5 GHz and the AMD can boost up to 4.6 GHz. You also get certain features exclusive to each platform, about which we can dive into in another video, or I'll just try to leave links to a few articles below the like button for you to check out. So, the point is, choosing Team Red in 2020 is the way to go, because they offer a better price to performance ratio. So, for this build, we went with the AMD Ryzen 5 3600. Once you have chosen a CPU, the process becomes much simpler. As all the Ryzen processors are unlocked, it only makes sense to go for an AM4 motherboard that supports overclocking. The latest B450 and the X570 chipsets support that. Motherboards come with certain features like number of PCIe slots available or the number of DIMM slots available. It is always recommended to go for a motherboard with at least one PCIe 16 slot, 4 DIMM slots, and an M.2 slot which supports NVMe protocol for your SSD. Considering these recommendations, we chose to go for the B450 Gaming Plus Max from MSI because it was way cheaper than the X570 variant. As far as memory goes, the current standard is at least 8GB of DDR4 memory. Now that's the bare minimum. Now when you're trying to buy RAM, you are treated with a large number followed by megahertz. This is the maximum speed the memory is rated to run at. It is also important to note that the processor or your processor can support a certain speed of RAM. The CPU we chose supports speed up to 3600 MHz, but we went with the 3200 MHz of 16 gigs of dual channel memory. That is 2 sticks of 8GB RAM. This is a product of Corsair and has some RGB on it, because RGB gives you performance, right? Okay. You need to know that the modern CPUs take really good advantage of a dual channel memory. Speaking about the price, the SSDs have hit a massive drop in price this past year. This is mainly due to the popularity of the newer NVMe protocol. NVMe stands for Non-Volatile Memory Express. It was created to accelerate the transfer of data between system and the solid-state drives. These are freaking fast AF. They can give you read and write speeds up to 2000 and 1500 Mbps. And that's a capital B, people. It's the big bite. These are not cheap by any means. So some tend to get enough to throw in an OS and use the cheaper hard drive or a SATA SSD for mass storage. Since we had a budget of around 1000 euros on the PC and we still haven't spoken about the graphic card, we went with the Sabrent Rocket 512GB of NVMe SSD and a 7200 RPM 1TB of mechanical hard drive from WD. To power all your components, you need a really reliable and an efficient power supply. This can be ensured by choosing an 80+ rated PSU. Now, the amount of power required by your PC can be estimated from a website named PCPartPicker.com. We should have probably talked about the graphics card before we spoke about the PSU. Maybe you should watch the video till the end to find out the star of the show. Anyway, the PSU. It should be able to pump out at least twice to thrice the amount of power required by the components. Trust me, a 700 watt PSU would be more than enough for you to move along. For this build, we chose a 700 watt 80+ bronze rated PSU from Thermaltake. Now, finally, the star of the show. The looks of your PC. The computational expert, the graphics card. If you're gonna play games on your PC, you're gonna need one of these for sure. Also, on a side note, many of the Ryzen CPUs need a discrete graphic card, unlike all the Intel ones which come with an integrated GPU. Although not powerful, there is that option. So, there are a few factors you need to consider when buying a GPU. The first and the main factor is the budget. 30 to 40% of your PC budget should be on the graphics card because it's the most expensive part on the build. The next factor would be thermal performance. Otherwise, your PC can drop those frames if the temperature aren't maintained very well. Once you've made a choice here, you're pretty much done with the build. Now, I know I haven't spoken about the case and the peripherals. I think the peripherals deserve a separate video for themselves. Talking about the case, this is a really subjective matter. As long as you choose a case which has good airflow, you should be good. FYI, for this build we went with a case from Antec. It checks all the necessary boxes to be a good case. It also has RGB to top things off. By now, you should have a fair idea on what parts to choose for your PC. Once you've done this, you just need to throw them in your PC case and wait for it to post. This video wouldn't have been possible if my friend Copperhead wouldn't have bought a PC and helped me put it together. Big shout out to him for that. Now, let's talk. 100 subscribers? Wow. When I started YouTube, I didn't know anything about making videos, neither did I know anything about editing them, nor did I know that people would like to watch my content. I also didn't know that I would enjoy creating content. But now, oh boy, I cannot say how much I enjoy editing videos, filming myself, and thinking about the way I can present myself better in every single video. Wow, this was all just a dream. I can't even say it was a dream. I don't know. It just happened, and thanks to you guys. Just as a celebration of reaching this milestone, I thought it would be a good idea to conduct a Q&A. Well, I don't know if you guys want to know anything about me or not. You guys are welcome to ask me any questions you want on my Instagram, Twitter, or even on my live stream. I mean, you can drop in on my chat, ask me some questions, I'll answer them in the next video. And big shout out to you guys who watched the video till the end. It really means a lot. I really appreciate it. That's it for this one. I will see you in the next one. Dab out!